We have made it to our final drawing, the vacation home. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what you will be drawing and what I expect of you. So let's take a quick look. There will be two sheets. This is the first sheet, which will include the plan view and the section. Notice that we have two different scales going on here. We have a 1/4 inch scale for the plan, and we have a 3/4 inch scale for the section. And of course, we did that by putting those on different layers that have different scales. You will be required to do this on your 17 by 11 template that you set up for your midterm. You're going to be putting in the text in here, just like I did. Put your initials down here, page 1 of 2, and then you will have a second sheet that will have the two elevations, just two of the elevations. That's all we're going to do here. And again, you will put the appropriate verbiage into the title block and draw everything that you see here. I'm going to show you, I'm not going to draw this like I did with the cabinet where I do everything step by step. I'm going to give you sort of your marching orders, so to speak, and show you essentially how to do things and then let you kind of figure it out for yourself. I think you'll learn a lot more doing it that way. So let's get started. All right, so we're going to come back to the plan view, and I think what I'll do is just simply draw this right over to the side here so that you can still see what I've done here and you can see what I'm drawing that's new. Now, we're going to be working with some new tools. We're going to be working with some of our building tools, and so let's get started with that right away. Let's open up our palettes and open up our tool sets. And in the tool sets, you'll see this building shell icon here, this little house. That's what we want. And you'll see that we have lots of things to choose from here. We're going to be working with the wall tool first. So I'm just going to click on the wall tool. So up here in the left-hand corner, you'll notice that we have a series of drawing modes. And I'd like to just go over those quickly with you. The first thing you probably need to do is to select a thickness for the wall. So in our case, we're going to draw our exterior walls at 6 inches. We're going to draw our interior walls at 4.5 inches. And we're going to draw them, let's do that right now, on the plan. We'll start with exterior walls because we'll draw the exterior walls first. Now, we have some different ways of drawing here. We can draw from the left control line mode, which means that if you draw from left to right, you're going to be defining the dimensions of the wall on the exterior side of it. That is, if you go down and come back around. Okay? You see what it's doing there? It's dimensioning to the outside of the wall. Now, let me go back here, and I just realized that in fooling around with this, I made a change that will be different than yours. So let me change that real quickly and just put a yes in here, use it creation. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's the left-hand mode. So, and usually I draw from left to right. I'll tend to do that. I'll draw left to right. I'll come down and around. Now, one thing, let me just delete this. The wall tool will allow you to draw basically any shapes that you want, and you guys should just probably play around with this a little bit, just sort of play with it, but when you get back and you're ready to connect up here, rather than worrying about what this distance is to get to here, just come up, touch it, get that datum point, and you'll get that reference line, which will put you right in line, and there it is. Now I have my black poche And that was we created when we created the exterior wall class. If you remember, we said use at creation, and we said make it black. Now later on, if we want to do something else with that class, we can turn that off, use at creation, and it won't be black. But for now, let's just leave it the way it is. So that's basically the way the wall tool works. Now, I wasn't putting any dimensions in there, but I can very simply click, okay, and now hit the tab key, put in 25 feet, and it will put a 25-foot wall anywhere along that radius. I want to make sure that the angle is at 0. Click, come down. What are we? We're 20 foot 6 inches, so I'm going to go 20 foot 6 inches. Now notice that I didn't have to put a negative in there as if I were working with Cartesian coordinates. Although I'm going down, Vectorworks recognizes that I am going down because I've moved my cursor in that direction, and it's asking me, okay, well, just give me the length of the line. I know which way you're going. Give me the length of the line. And so that's what I did, and click, and then I'm going to come back on up here and click, and I'm going to hold short here. Now there's another tool, the wall join tool, which I want to show you at this point, that will allow you to join your walls up. You don't always have to, marry them together yourself. You can do it with this wall join tool. I'll click it. Notice up in the modes area here that it says, okay, what kind of intersection are we going to have here? Are we going to have a T? Are we going to have an L? Or are we going to have a place where, a crossroads where two walls are going to cross each other? In our case, we're going to have an L. So I'm going to do the L join. And all I do is come over here. You'll see a little red outline on the wall, which means you are where you need to be. Just click there, come across to the wall that you want to join up with, and click, and it'll join it right up. So that's the basics of the wall tool. That's probably about as far as we're going to go with it in this class. When we get in the 3D class, we'll attack it a little bit more. We'll do some more things with it, but that's essentially it. You've got a rectangular house here. Should be fairly easy for you to do the walls. Okay, now let me do one more thing, because I didn't put in a dimension for the wall or a thickness for the wall. Let's look at that. And I want to show you one other thing. Here's the area where you're going to put in the thickness of the wall, and I'm going to put in 6 inches. And I'm not going to edit any of the wall attributes, although I can do that. And again, we can get into that later on. But for now, I think that's all we really need to do, is to put 6 in there. And notice that it says the wall style is unstyled. Now, if we hit this little drop-down menu here, it's amazing how many wall types that you get. You get stucco, you get CMU, you get EFS, you get everything. So we're going to keep it real simple, but I did want to make sure that you understood that it keeps going. I mean, this list is just amazing. So we won't do that, but wanted to make sure that you knew it was there. Okay, so I'll get my walls. I'm going to draw my walls again. I'm going to come across at 25 inches, 25 feet rather, and come down at 20 feet 6 inches. And now all I have to do is join up here, get my datum point, and click, and then come on up and join them up. Okay, so there's my basic outline of the house. Now the next thing we need to do is to do the interior walls. So let's do that. And before we do the interior walls, I'm going to go ahead and change the class. Now, do we really need classes for each one of these? I mean, is it going to affect the way that they're drawn? No. We could do all of this. We could actually do just about everything in this entire sheet here on the None class. but because we want to be able to turn things on and off, we're not doing that. That's what the classes are going to do for us. They're going to allow us to turn them on and off. So I'm just going to stick to the protocol here and go to interior walls. It doesn't mean that it's automatically going to change the wall thickness to 4.5 inches. I'm going to have to do that by going in here and going 4.5. Pretty easy to do. And okay. And now I'm ready to go. I think what I'm going to do, let me zoom back over here for just a moment. I think what I'll do is draw this wall right here first. This one will come first, okay? And then I'll draw this wall that's going to join it, and then I'll draw this little wall that separates the bathroom from the closet. Okay, now let's take a look at the measurements. We're 5 foot 6 inches plus 2 foot 6 inches, so we're 8 feet to the back side of this wall, the inside of the closet wall. So we're 8 feet from the outside of this wall to the right side of this wall. Okay, so let's go back over to where I'm drawing, and let's draw that. Got the wall tool. Now I have to ask myself a question here. Which drawing mode do I want? I was using the left control line, which allowed me to draw on the left side. There's one here for the center line. This would be great if you were doing a footing, where the footing was centered on the wall. But I think what we want is we want the right control line, because we want to go up like this, and we want to be on the right side of the wall, don't we? We want to be on the back side of that closet wall. So I'm going to choose the right drawing mode. There we go. All right, now here's what I'm going to do. Get my datum point, slide across here, put in the tab, hit the tab key twice, and put in a length of 8 feet. Click OK. Come over here, click, and I'm going to draw this wall all the way up. I'm going to make it solid all the way. There we go. Now we're going to break it. We're going to put a door in, and we're going to put an opening in a moment, but let's just make it solid for now. All right, let's look at our next wall. Now the next wall has several measurements that have to be added up. Now we could do this on a calculator, or if you were good with numbers, you could do it in your head. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Vectorworks add it up for me. So all I have to do is remember the numbers. I've got 6 inches, 2 foot 8, 2 foot 6, and 3 feet to the inside of the bathroom wall, to the left side. So again, I'm going to need the left drawing tool, the left mode. All right, so I'm going to click here, come up, and I'm going to tab twice, and I'm going to put in 6 plus 2 foot 8. Hold on. I think I hit a comma there instead of a foot sign. 2 foot 8 plus 2 foot 6 plus 3 feet, and hit return and draw my line. Oops, now I waited too long. I'm actually glad I did that, because I want you to see that. If you can't dilly-dally like I just did. You've got to be quick, because you remember we set the time for the datum to appear to, I think it's a 1 second or 2 seconds, something like that. So you've got to be quick. All right, so let's do this again. I'm going to get my wall tool. I'm going to make sure I'm in the left control line mode. I'm going to come here, get my datum point. I'm going to tab once and twice. Don't forget to tab twice. And then I'm going to put in 6 inches plus 2 foot 8 inches plus 2 foot 6 inches plus 3 feet. And click return, and come up here and draw my wall. There we go. All right, so I've got that wall drawn. Now let's look at this closet wall. Looks like it is 5 foot 6 inches to the inside. So for this one, we need the right mode of drawing. Get our wall tool. We're going to click here, get our datum point, tab once and twice, put in 5 foot 6 inches, and draw. There we go. Now we've got our walls. That's all there is to it. You just can't ask for a simpler mode of drawing walls than this. All right, so now let's put in some windows and doors. Now the windows and doors are available to us right here in the tool set. We've got windows here, here's windows, window walls, window wall curved, there's all kinds of windows. Now in addition to this, this is going to give us sort of a generic window. We have in our resource palette, we have a Marvin window catalog. We have, there's several others. There's 2 others that I can't remember what they are right now, but Geldwin is one, and then there was one that I didn't recognize. So that you can actually spec in, if you're using one of those 3 brands, you can spec those windows right in, draw them in, they will look exactly like the real thing in your drawing. And that's particularly important when you're doing 3D drawings. You need to, you want it to be as accurate as you possibly can. But this is going to give us sort of a little generic window. And so what I'm going to do is just click in here and click the window in. Now notice that the window is obscured because it has that Use It Creation black fill. So let's get rid of that. Let's change that. Let me pull this attributes palette over here. And let's make the fill white. There we go. Now we can see our window. Now we need to size the window because it just brought it in, and I'm not sure what size it actually is, to tell you the truth, but we're going to go ahead and size it. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to go to my Object Info palette. Now, you will know whether your window, and this applies to doors as well, you will know whether they are actually in the wall or not if you see this flip, set position, and setting. If you don't see that, let me pull it out of the wall and show you. All you'll get is settings. You'll lose those other 2 options. So if you don't see them, you're not in the wall. And the way you typically get it in the wall is you just bring it over and you'll see the wall turn red. Okay. All right. Now, flip is something that we typically use for doors to change the door swing, but also if you happen to put a window in with the exterior side in, you could flip it here. You could flip it around. Okay, so we haven't done that, so nothing there. Set position. We'll talk about that in just a second, but before we set the position, let's come down here and let's take a look at some of the other settings. The windows can have a round top. They can have a segmented top. They can have a sloped top. It can be a gable. It can be ellipse. All of these different things. So if you have some, special windows, this is pretty much going to cover everything that you need. Does it have a transom? We're not going to have a transom, so I won't select that. But if you do, then you can come in and put in your transom dimensions. Sash operation. What kind of window is it? Is it just an opening? Is it a cased opening, a fixed glass, single hung, double hung casement, so on and so forth? We're going to make ours just fixed glass. Okay, so we're going to just keep it real simple. All right, what's the width? If you look at your plan, you will see that it is 5 foot by 5 feet. 5 by 5. Now the height doesn't matter so much for us since we're just looking at this in 2D, but if you were doing a 3D drawing, it would certainly matter. And it would also matter as to what the elevation of the top of the window is. Typically it's at 6'8" or 80 inches, and they give you the option of setting it to the top of the window, which is what we have, or you can do it to the sill if you wanted to. And let's see, what else is important here for you. I think most of this we can skip right now. Use wall depth, it defaults to that. So what it does is it makes the jamb thickness, this thickness of the jamb here, match whatever size wall you put it in. And that was a good thing for us because we had a 6-inch wall. You can put in the sash width and depth. I mean, it's amazing what you can do. You can really customize this window to be just about anything you want. You can put mullions in, muntin bars. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. You can put lintels in. Here's the muntin bars down here. So we won't go through all of that because we're just going to have a very simple window, but I wanted to show you that all of that information is there for you to, on future projects, you can really dress these windows up. Or again, you can go to the resource palette and actually select the exact window that you want from your manufacturer. Okay, so let's now that we have that window fashioned the way we want, it's just a glazed. It's not operative. It's 5 by 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. I'm going to not copy it, excuse me. I'm going to duplicate it. So Command D, and I'm going to move it. I'm going to move this guy right over here, and I'm going to duplicate this one, and I'm going to move it over here. Now, if I go here, nothing's going to happen. I've got to see that red mark, that red line on the wall. You see that outline? Okay, that means that it's going to put it in the wall for me. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to put it in here. And I believe there's one more window on the back side here. Command D, and it's going to go in here somewhere. All right, so now we have all of our windows in. Now let's talk about how we get them placed in the exact position that we want them. We'll start with this guy right here. If you look at your plan, the window on the side here is 7 foot 6 inches from the exterior wall. So from here to the center line of this window is 7 foot 6 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Now let me show you how you do it. This is really cool. Really a simple little method that they've put together for you to position your window. So we'll go Set Position, and I'm going to click on the center of the window where it's dimensioned to, and I'm going to click on the outside corner, and I'm going to put in 7 foot 6 inches. Now this is important here. Interpret the first click as the reference point or the object point. Well, the object is the window, and the reference is from this corner right here. So object point was my first click, wasn't it? Because I went here and then I went to the wall. So that's great. I've got that set right. Let's position it. Now watch the window. Boom, it moves right into place. Now this next window, I'm going to select it, and I'm going to set position, and I'm going to go midpoint to midpoint, and I'm going to put in 5 feet. And object point was the window. It should pull it right next to it. All right, so that's how you do it, and I'm going to let you do the rest of these. This one here goes right up to the edge of the window. So what you can do here is select the window and go set position, midpoint to here. Well, actually, I wouldn't do it that way. I would do it a little differently. I'd do it like this. Set position, go to the end point to here, to the end, and go 6 inches, because the wall is 6 inches in depth. And that should bring it right up to the corner. All right, so that's how you put your windows in. Now, let's do our doors. This is really the fun part. I love doing this part of the project. Let's go back to our tool sets and let's go to door. Again, it's going to put just sort of a generic door in, and let's do this one first. Now, when you click on it and get it inserted into the wall, you're going to be able to flip it, and by moving the mouse down, it'll move the door up. If you move the mouse down, the door will, move the mouse up, the door will go down. Same thing over here. Down it goes up it goes down, and side to side. Now you really, at this point, don't need to worry about the swing, because, and I'll show you. Oh, one other thing I should mention is that with both windows and doors, Vectorworks automatically loads another door onto your cursor. And so you may think, well, I want to do something else now, but you've got a door loaded there. So you want to hit the X key, and that'll take you out of that mode. All right, let's look at the object info palette now. That exterior door is a 3068 door. Now, if I wanted to flip it, you have to have the door selected. I can do that. I can flip it to all 4 positions, which is really nice. Set position, you know how to do that now. You've got a dimension to the center line. You can pick the center line up here, come over, put that dimension in. And then settings, we didn't hit this last time on the windows, but this basically, let me close this for just a second, gives us all of this stuff down here in a little more concise form. Okay, so you come in here to settings and you go, for example, to the jam. What size jam do you want? Do you want to use wall depth? You know, do you want to put it on a special class? Now notice that it comes in on the door class. In other words, Vectorworks brings it in its own class. And you can change it later on if you want. I wouldn't worry about it right now. But please do notice that it has capital letters. It's capital D and capital C. That's why we made all of our classes that we created lowercase, so that we can easily tell the difference between those two. All right, so let's see. Let's go to general, which will allow us to put the size of the door in. That's all good. Swing, it's all good. One thing I do want to do, since this is an exterior door, let's put a threshold in. And so you're going to come up here and say, yes, I want to include a threshold. I want the threshold to be, the interior depth to be 0. The exterior depth, let's just make it 2 inches. The overall then is going to be 8, right? Because the wall's 6 and it's sticking out 2 inches. And that's all good. And click OK. And now you get a nice threshold there. All right. Now let's go ahead and bring in another door and do the bathroom door. I think that's the only other one that we have to do. All right, so we'll hit the door button here, and I'm just going to click in there and put it in. Didn't really worry about the swing, although I did get the swing. I actually did get the swing going the correct way. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. All right. Now we have to position it. Now, if you'll notice on the drawing over here, it doesn't give us a dimension, does it? It doesn't tell us what the length of this wall is or what the length of this little stub is here. And you'll see this a lot in residential drawings. Those dimensions won't be given unless it's in an exact position. What they're basically telling you here is that they want to see a trimmer and a king stud here, so 3 inches. So you could put this door 3 inches from the inside corner here. So let's go over and let's just do that, and I'll show you how I would do that. First thing I've got to do is change the size of the door. Now before we change the size of the door in this settings, when we hit the settings button, but I'm just going to do it right here. Here it is, and it's a 2.0 door, so it's 2 feet by 6'8". So that should change that. It's a small little door. Hope they get the tub in there before they put the door in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to move it. We're going to set the position, and I'm just going to go from here to this intersection right here, and I'm going to go 1 foot 3 inches, half the thickness of the door plus 3 inches, and object point was my first point, and there it is, moves it right over there. All right, so that's doors and windows. You guys can put these in place and make sure you have these positioned correctly. And then of course the other thing you're going to do is, you already know how to do this, you're going to dimension this guy. You're going to put, let me close a lot of this stuff out of the way here so we can see it. You are going to, actually let me do this, there we go. You're going to dimension all of these things. Oh, I do have 2 other things I need to show you before I go here. But you're going to put all the dimensions in. You're going to do the text. This is just a dashed line, and you know how to do that. On the hatch video, which comes after this, I show you at the end how to do this, an easy way to do it. So if you want to do it your own way, that's fine. If you want to do it the way I do it, watch the video. But I do want to show you now how to put in this opening, and then how to put in these bifold doors. So let's just do that real quickly. All right, let's do the bifolds first. And let me open up my tool sets. All right, there it is. So, all right, I'm going to do the bifolds. I'm just going to select the door symbol. I'm not going to worry about what kind of door it puts in there. And now I'm going to go to my object info palette. And let me select that door. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say, okay, I want this door to be, let's see, what does it say? 6 foot 8 inches. All right, so it's 6 foot 8 inches wide. 6'8" tall. Wow, that's a jumbo door. And I'm going to come down here to bifold by part. And there it is. And then I'm going to come down a little bit more here. And I'm going to say, let's see, where is it? I kind of lost my way here. Oh, here we go. All right, so, well, let's go back up top here. First of all, they're swinging the wrong way. Let's set the position so that they're, flip so that they're out. And then let's come down here and let's make the opening angle of the doors. Let's try 60 degrees, see how that looks. Hey, that looks pretty good. That's the way I drew it before. So there we go. So now we've got those doors drawn in. Now let's do this opening over here. Once again, go to the door, so the little door icon, click on it, click twice. Don't worry about the swing because we're going to get rid of that. And now let's look at the object info palette. The opening is 3 feet. So let's make the door 3 feet. So, and it is 3 feet. Let's go down to the configuration and let's just make it an opening, not a cased opening, but just an opening. Let's try that. Okay, so there's the opening. Now we just have to position it. So I'm going to zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to use the set position. and I'm just going to go from here to here, and I'm going to put in 0. And there we go. There's your opening, nice and clean. So there you have the basics of drawing the walls, windows, doors. And again, I'm going to show you this on the hatch video. Let me just briefly tell you how I did the appliances and the cabinets and so forth. Since this is just a 2D drawing, all I did here was I drew in, this is just a rectangle. This is a rectangle. This, let's see, I think I just drew this. You may find one in the resource palette that might work for you, but for this it was easier for me just to draw this thing. Let me see if I did. It's been a while since I did this. If I can, okay, so this must be from the resource palette, and I'll show you how to do that. This, I know this sink came from the resource palette. This vanity sink came from the resource palette. Toilet did. This I drew myself. I was having trouble finding a tub that would fit in there, and I just got tired of dinking with it, and so I just drew a rectangle that fit in, and then I used the oval tool, which is right here, and I just drew a nice oval in there. So I'll come over here, show you how I did that. And then once you get it drawn, if you don't like it, you can reshape it, and of course you can give it a different attribute as far as the color goes, the fill. So that's all I did there. And then this, of course, the shelf and the rod, they're just lines basically. And then I just dimensioned it, just like you would dimension anything, just like you did your cabinet. So that's what I did there. Let me show you the resource palette and show you how to find some of these appliances and things like that, some of the resources. So Command R will bring up the resource palette. Here it is. This thing's a little bit confusing. Even today, to me, this thing's a little confusing. But basically what it's showing here is that in this file that I'm in, these are all of the resources that I have currently brought into my drawing. Now, you won't have those because you haven't brought them in yet, but I have. So, and you can do that. And if we click on one of these, like let's say, let's see, furniture, opening, sanitary. Let's do sanitary fixtures. Now, it looks like nothing really happened there, but this drop down here, I've got all of those line styles, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to find all of my fixtures, and basically all I have to do is click on it and drag it into the drawing. And it's asking me, where do you want to leave it? And just go with whatever it says to do there, and there it is. Okay, and now, where did these come from? That's probably the next thing you want to know. I just wanted to look at one other thing. Here's the residential appliances. Here's your microwaves and stove. That's probably, this might be one of the stoves that I brought in right here. You can bring in whatever you want. You know, just have some fun with it. But let me show you where all of these guys live. What you're going to do is go up here to File. You're going to go to Add New Favorite Files. And it's going to take you to, hopefully, on your computer, it's going to take you to, let me just run through the sort of where it is. So on an Apple, it's going to be in Applications. All right. Now, it took me there, but I'm going back now and showing you how it got there. So we went to Applications, and then I'm going to scroll down until I find Vectorworks 2013. And I'm going to go to Libraries, and I'm going to go to Object, Building, Architecture, and Interior. And there they are right there. There's the Equipment, Residential Appliances. Now, you could bring all of this stuff in, but your resource palette would get so jammed up with so many things that it would make life tough on you. So I'm just gonna suggest that you bring in residential appliances, and you bring in over here. Let's see. Let's go to. Let me go back to libraries and go to building services. Here's Kohler sanitary baths. There's your bathtubs, faucets, lavatories, all of that stuff. Okay, and so just all you do is just click on it and then open it, and it'll open up in your resource browser. Let me close this. You will see it in this list. So basically, just click right here, and you'll see all of the things that are listed here. Okay. So that's hopefully you will have a good time with that. I'd like to make one other note about the resource browser, and that is you may not see these little icons showing you what the appliances look like, and that is because over here, that's because over here you have them set to view as a list, and I find that kind of tough to deal with. I don't know exactly what I'm getting, so if you'll just go to resources, view as thumbnails, and then you can actually see what you have. All right, well, I think that just about takes care of it. So for this week, what I'm hoping that you will get done is get this drawn. You saw how quickly I did that. It may take you a little bit more time since it's your first stab at it, but go ahead and get the windows and the doors put in. Get as much of this drawn as you possibly can. Get it dimensioned, and then next week we will move on to the elevations. Now there is one more video you're going to watch on hatches. That's this pattern right here. This is a hatch, this 8-inch tile, and I'm going to show you how to draw that so that it fills that area, and so that if you change the area, that it will the hatch, as it's called, will fill whatever area you've put it in. Okay, all right, well, that's it. Have fun. Don't forget to fill out your title block down here with as much information as you can, and be thinking as you do that, what class do I want to put these things on, so that they won't necessarily show up on page 2. You don't want the plan view and section sheet title to show up on sheet 2. You want to turn it off on sheet 2 so that when you go to elevation, that second sheet, it says elevations. All right, BCT 105 as designed for, that can show up. That's fine. The scale on the other one, I have varies in there. So those are 2 separate items. This one says varies. So just be thinking about that as you do it, and have fun. Okay, take care.